this is Cutefuzzyweasel, and...
The repair guy?
And...
Liz.
And...
Nassuman.
And welcome to another Disjointed Talk. Today we're going to be discussing movies that should not be remade. Now, when I say that, I mean movies that shouldn't be remade within reason. No one's going to remake 2001, or Casablanca, or Gone with the Wind. Seriously, no one's gonna really try to remake those. Yeah, as in a remake, not like a reinterpretation remake.
Gotta scratch off Lord of the G-Strings, then.
Okay. These are the ones that could seriously be remade, and these are the reasons why they shouldn't be remade. So, how should we start this? Who should go first?
I'll go ahead and start.
And then we can just go around?
Yeah.
Or in order, because Liz is right there.
Okay, so we'll have it just me and Liz and you and then we go back.
That? I'm a that to you?
That.
Well,
Fuck you.
Alright, so we'll start off with,
Fat people are people too.
Alright, so my first movie is Jackie Chan's Drunken Master. And I feel that the reason you shouldn't remake this movie is because it feels very much as a product of its time. It's an early 70s kung fu film from China. It's got some absolutely perfect choreography. The story is classic. But the thing that really stops it from being remade is you can't replicate Jackie Chan in that movie. Like, there is no one who can really bring that kind of sincerity and just skill to being a drunken idiot kicking ass.
Well, if they redid it, they'd use CGI Jackie Chan.
Well, the interesting thing is
they use hologram Jackie Chan.
well, they made a sequel. They made a sequel to it, I think in the 90s. And he's playing the same character again, but it just doesn't feel the same way. It doesn't have any of that heart anymore. And I feel one of the major reasons is because
He's a communist.
well, the major reasons was because of because of when it was made and how it was made and the philosophy going into the filmmaking really kind of puts it as you can't ever create that kind of magic again. And that's why I don't think they should ever even venture a remake of Drunken Master.
Okay, anything?
Anyone ever seen that other than him?
Yeah, I haven't.
I saw it.
I haven't.
Okay, well, Liz, it's your turn.
I don't think that they should ever remake Fight Club.
Okay.
Because?
Because I think it does a fairly good job at interpreting the actual book. Like, there's a lot of, like, word-for-word dialogue in there, and I think it captures the characters very well.
Ah, yes, my favorite line from the book, Bob had bitch tits.
I think the thing
Yeah, you can't beat Meatloaf in that.
I think the thing about that was really neat is that the ending. The ending is almost exactly different.
It's completely
different.
It's a 180 from the book.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, the author of Fight Club,
Yeah.
That was nice.
Chuck,
he
I want to say Pound
Chuck
Nasty,
P.
but that's just because.
yeah, but Chuck P. He liked the ending the movie did better. Like he was absolutely. He loved the ending.
Well,
He was like, I wish I had thought of that.
Apparently he's basing the sequel, the comic book series coming next year, on the movie continuity instead of the book continuity.
Yeah. And
Because narrator, I believe, it's been decided on Jack, as his name, settles down with Marla.
I think
That was kind of going in that direction in the book. Him and Marla had actually become almost an item.
the thing about it is that about Fight Club is why you really can't remake it is that it just doesn't need it. It's one of those movies that really
It
still
still looks really good.
Well,
It's going to age
It's
well.
going to
it's how it's filmed is in a very special place, and it's placed in pop culture. It's sort of like one of those movies that, like, if you tried to remake Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the actors all carried their performances well.
Yeah.
No one seemed out of place.
Yeah, it hits all. I mean, I'm not saying it's a perfect movie. There's
no such thing as a perfect movie.
but it hits all the right marks. It does everything it absolutely needs to set out, and to try to go ahead and make that change to just it feels far too indulgent and
It's among the upper echelons of book movies. Period.
yeah, it's like you can never remake Harry Potter or something like that. You just can't. It's
Even though the stars have been joking about a remake in their 60s.
I would do it. Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter at age 63.
Well, no, they play the teachers. And for some reason, everyone's looking at Radcliffe thinking that he's gonna be Dumbledore. I see Snape.
I see him as Dobby.
Yeah, at 60, Daniel Radcliffe is now 4 foot tall and gray.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Weasel.
Reverse Michael Jackson.
Right. Well, here, scoot in a little bit. Well, not in that much, but you were kind of hanging out of frame. You're still hanging out of
I
frame.
like to hang out in frame.
There. My pick is Blade Runner. Blade Runner
Oh,
should not be
damn.
remade because they would fuck it up too bad. And here's how. Blade Runner, if it was made today, would be made by some no-named Hollywood director that no one's ever heard of, whose previous movies probably had something to do with, like, hot dog vendor comedy, or maybe someone who was involved with Harold and Kumar, so they'd hand it off to the wrong person. They would take all the visuals, all the things that were scale models, and they turn it into some kind of generic CGI piece of crap kind of background that someone just rendered in their computer in like an hour, and they try and pass that off as like the iconic pyramid and the flying cars and everything. They try and do that. They'd cast the wrong people. They'd probably cast maybe who would cover for Ford.
Well, okay, hold on.
Brad Pitt is Harrison.
They'd probably cast Brad Pitt
Well, he's
as
not-
Harrison Ford's character.
He's not the worst choice. I mean, I don't know.
He's not the right choice.
Let's okay. For one thing, you're assuming the worst happens with this remake, and granted, that does
That's
usually
kind of
what
the premise
happens.
of the video.
Well, no, like sometimes an honest remake, an honest attempt is made at remaking a movie.
But the worst would happen.
Well, no, because
The worst would happen.
Blade Runner is one of those classic sci-fi movies.
Yeah, so was what's that movie?
Ron.
I've already forgotten the movie already.
Will Day the Earth Stood Still?
No, not the Day the Earth Stood Still. The
That's not
one,
really classic.
no, but one of the
That's
classics of the early '90s.
It
It
could
was Total Recall.
Totally.
That was a pretty good movie, and then they remade it, and it was shit.
Did they have the one with 3 tits in it?
They had it as an in-joke.
But the thing about
Really?
but
And I have a feeling if they ever remade Blade Runner, they'd redo it with the same attitude they had towards the Total Recall, which was it looked good, but they missed everything. And they would miss everything with Blade Runner. They'd have a scene where people were like running from explosions and
They're-
screaming,
So I'm
and
kind
it'd
of
have
feeling.
dubstep in it.
I'd kind of expect it to be more of the Judge Dredd remake, where
well, that's
it's
a good remake.
it's not what you want out of a remake, but it's not a bad film in and of itself.
That's what I would see with the Blade Runner remake. It doesn't
do it justice, but it's so far removed from the original that it doesn't hurt it.
Well, great. Okay, so like talking about the Judge Dredd remake is that we had two very different, because Judge Dredd, of course, is a
Two
comic book
totally
character.
different takes.
But they're both based on the same because
Yeah.
Judge Dredd comics, they can go from this wacky, insane adventure to this real serious, gritty thing, and you had that there. Well, Blade Runner is based off of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and I feel that if you went back, it's sort of like the iRobot route. iRobot's not a great movie, but the thing about it is that it's sort of taking that same idea once again. It's,
Will Smith likes Converses and shoot stuff.
Yes, but no, it's taking it's going back to the original source material and saying, okay, well, what can we do differently with the same source material? Instead of making this as, we want to make the remake of Blade Runner, but we don't want to do it like this has to be Blade Runner for this generation. This has to be. What does Blade Runner do at this time? What does Blade Runner do?
Except there doesn't need to be a Blade Runner for this generation.
Well, no,
There's just Blade Runner.
Well, I agree with you.
And that's exactly what they do. They take it and let's say, let's see how we can modernize it and jazz it up, and let's throw in Daft Punk and make everything glow and look like Tron.
He's not
because that's what everyone likes now.
Yeah.
And let's shoehorn in a political message, like a really obvious
Again,
political message.
He's not wrong.
No, he's not. He's not.
And let's fill it with pop culture
It's
references.
a really good way to age a film.
And let's turn the androids into things that look not exactly kind of mamey human. Like, make sure they have the uncanny valley by making them all CGI. They do it all CGI faces, and instead of a speech at the end talking about mortality and what it means to actually be alive, it would be an explosion happening on top of a building while the main character runs down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, it'd be
That's what it would
Well,
be.
no, he'd be running down a skyline or a bridge or something that should not be there and architecturally makes no sense.
yeah,
exactly.
it'd be this very superfluous action film.
And then they joke about not joke about it, but they try to justify it. Well, it's based off a night city, really, and the city's built on top of stuff, and that's not why you did it. You did it because you thought it looked cool, and you were able to touch yourself while you worked at your computer. You fucks. I'm already mad. It hasn't even been made, and I'm already pissed off. It's not even being made, and I'm already pissed off.
Well,
That's what would happen.
Well, let's go on to the next one, Jeb.
Oh shit, it is mine.
Yes,
yeah,
it
it's
is.
yours.
Okay, shit.
Frame for it.
I can't remember. Let's see, what were my... RoboCop.
RoboCop. Okay.
Even
Okay.
though
It is being
Too
made.
I am vehemently opposed to what they're doing to that movie.
Okay. What is let's take a look at what RoboCop is. RoboCop.
Well, RoboCop, first of all, holds a special value for me.
Well, yeah, I understand.
It was my violent movie growing up. It's what my parents let me watch,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the first place I saw a boob.
Well, the thing about RoboCop is that RoboCop, like, what makes it good is not just like the hyper violence. It's not just the fact that he's a robot cop, even though those are two very cool things. It's that RoboCop was a
They did the
satire.
Fall of Detroit.
Well, it's a satire. RoboCop's like the little commercials and the things
Oh yeah,
about
it was
like.
very much.
Well, from
OCP.
what I understand,
Man, damn, that's a little.
from what I understand, is that they're still trying to have that, but sort of because I'm sorry, RoboCop is a dated movie.
It's dated, but
RoboCop is very obviously a product.
it's dated,
of
but
its
so
time.
are all of these. So are all of these outlying sci-fi films that have
Good
these
film.
small fan bases.
But the thing is, RoboCop is very much a movie about the 80s. It's about the kind of
They still-
mentality in 80s.
They
like,
still hit a lot of things on the head there.
well, yeah, because everything works in that way. And if you did, because from what I understand is what the RoboCop, the new RoboCop is, it's saying, well, what we want to make it feel like this is a product of, the millennial excess instead of 80s excess, because they're two very similar yet very different things. And that's where I see that the RoboCop remake isn't a horrible idea, because RoboCop in itself, while a cool concept, is a dated movie. And therefore, updating it isn't going to ruin it. It's just another
The idea in itself might not be ruined, but they would.
I don't know, because
They-
from what I've seen from it, doesn't really.
They're gonna fuck it up.
I
have faith in Hollywood. They're gonna fuck it up.
I'm going to be the eternal optimist here, and say I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, and because they haven't shown me anything that absolutely goes, this
Got an
is going to
organic
be,
hand.
and
They fucked it up.
this is me caring. Like I love RoboCop. I don't love it as much as you.
That entirely eliminates the potential for one of my favorite scenes from RoboCop 2. And there's going to be a sequel because it's going to do well in the box office.
Well, for me, it's
Well, okay, I'll raise issue with that because you never know. I mean, just take a look at what happened to the Lone Ranger.
yeah.
Now, everyone thought that was gonna do really good, but it didn't.
Yeah, you're right. It turns out Johnny Depp can't sell everything.
So I'm just
The
saying.
only one who didn't
I-
like the film.
Well, I agree with you. I personally have faith in Hollywood that they are going to destroy anything good about RoboCop, the same way they destroyed everything good about Khan.
Hold up. That was a good movie. That was a good movie that you conceded to, saying it was a good movie.
I said it was a good movie. and then I thought about it.
Well, yeah, and then I thought about it, and we had this discussion after we thought
Jeremy,
about it.
see, human
No,
beings
I-
have this uncanny ability to have conflicting opinions about something.
And then I thought about it, and then I saw Wrath of Khan again, and then I realized how badly they really fucked up Khan. They royally fucked up Khan.
I think that Into Darkness would have been better if it just wasn't Khan. Because he is a good villain.
Into Darkness would have been better if it wasn't Khan, and they didn't have a huge black imposing mega ship.
No, I'm fine with the big black.
I had a problem with that after
That's
a
the
while.
You guys are spoiling the hell out of this movie for me. It's not available on Netflix.
That's the
yet.
J.J. Abrams. Hold on, we're getting off subject here. We're talking about RoboCop. We're talking about.
I am using Into Darkness as an
analogy.
example.
Okay.
I have a feeling they're probably going to go the same route with RoboCop, and they're going to take everything that happened in RoboCop, and they're going to twist it just enough to misalign it, and to have it start burning a hole in the wall. And while I say that, I also think I don't know if it'll do so well.
I'm kind of hoping it won't because I don't want to see what they do to Ed 209.
Something about it is hitting that I don't think this is going to do so well.
And I honestly don't know if they'll ever be able to capture the spirit of Clarence Darby.
And once again, I'm just gonna always be the eternal. I'm always the eternal optimist in this situation. Because
I hope I'm gonna see the movie,
But yeah,
and I hope
Well,
that
we're
it's
all
good.
going to see the movie,
But I'm prepared for it to be bad.
and then we'll do a video about it.
yeah, we will. I was prepared for Iron Man 3 to be bad, and I was.
It kind of was.
Well, Iron Man 3 was bad, but Iron Man 3,
is the victory lap.
yeah.
That's what Iron Man 3 is. It's the victory lap.
Iron Man 3 isn't the victory lap. It's the fuck you.
Iron Man 3 was the Iron Man was the movie where Iron Man doesn't need a suit.
Iron Man 3 was
It's great.
No, Iron
Robert
Man
Downey
3
Jr. plays with toys, the movie.
Pretty much.
And I really wish they'd make Robert Downey Jr. plays with toys, the movie. They need to do that, because that's what I see in Iron Man. That's why I watch it.
Yeah.
I don't care about anything else.
Well,
Because obviously they don't.
That's what Iron Man 3 was
They
for me,
did it.
and it's a great character piece for once. It's a decent character piece for once. Because Iron Man 1 was barely that.
It
and Iron
was a
Man 2 was
lukewarm character piece.
and Iron Man 2 was just a horrible character piece.
Lukewarm. I do appreciate that they gave him some depth other than he's drunk and he's funny.
Yeah, they gave him, like,
He's
oh, he's
drunk and
charming,
he
but he's
womanizes.
flawed.
Although
but-
I don't exactly understand why he's getting PTSD
From
now.
well,
Why he wouldn't have that earlier.
Well,
It can
he was
actually
having it
appear
earlier.
later.
He wasn't having full-on panic attacks earlier.
Well, okay, hold on, huh?
Well, I mean,
It
this
can
came.
trigger at any time.
I guess this
honestly.
movie falls in the timeline immediately after.
Well, yeah,
Avengers.
well, they talk about it like it's only a couple months after Avengers.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about Avengers. I'm talking about being trapped in a cave.
Oh, well, no.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, hold on. He came back literally from dying. He saw things no one else has ever seen before.
Did he die? Really?
Yeah, he died.
Really?
Yes.
And it took the Hulk yelling at him to restart his heart.
Yes. Because it's stupid, it's comic book movie
Because
science.
it's a comic book movie, and that's where you get the little excuses.
Yeah, because super
But
science.
it is your turn.
Dude,
It is my turn.
spider,
Yeah, there's a
spider crawling towards you.
So kill it.
Cool.
No, don't kill it. It's a vital part of the ecosystem.
Okay.
Murder it.
It's a spider.
It's a part of the economy. That spider could be a small business owner.
Yep.
Well,
He's a web designer.
Okay, what the hell was that?
What?
What was it?
That was an ant on your shoulder.
Oh, I don't care about ants.
Jeremy.
Alright, so my next movie. My next movie is The Warriors.
Ah, that's great.
Yeah.
He still hasn't seen it. It's on Netflix though.
Yeah, they should
The-
not remake the
Well,
Warriors.
there was talk. Well, okay, there was talk of the Warriors, of a remake of the Warriors, which had one very interesting thing about it. I remember reading it was the leaders of the Crips and the Bloods were talking about because one of the most iconic scenes in the Warriors is where all the gangs of New York are all at that one gathering.
Right before shit breaks loose.
Well, yeah. The thing is they were going to talk about it like a piece. Well, the new Warriors remake was going to be set in Los Angeles, of course, to modernize it a little bit. And they said they were going to have the Crips and the Bloods and various other major gangs in the area actually being in a peaceful location. They talked about, like, they were saying, if you could get this to happen, we'll do it. And that alone would make that movie, like, have an interesting place in history. But the thing about Warriors is that it is a movie that it is timeless in the sense that it is the quintessential 70s movie. Like, there is no movie.
Nassuman talks.
There is no better movie that really just like creates this image of 1970s New York better than The Warriors. And to remake that, to give it a remake and a new modern approach, kind of betrays this place it has in time, in cinematic history.
Well, if they remade it, they wouldn't set it in modern times. They'd set it in the future. They'd set it in the year 2030 when the world is ruled by games.
With splatter
Yeah,
punks.
everybody.
With splatter punks.
And then there'd be random explosions. It'd be done by Michael Bay.
I'd pay to see that, honestly. Michael
who
Bay
was the
blows
person-
people up the movie.
Who was the person they actually got for it?
J.J. Abrams.
No, it wasn't. I'm trying
And
to remember.
then the sun would be exploding, and there'd be lens flares everywhere.
Do you remember Pain and
set in the
Gain,
desert.
the Michael Bay movie that wasn't trying to ruin your childhood recently?
Which one?
Pain and Gain
Wait,
with
is
Mark.
that The Rock and Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah,
that
it was
no
a
one
movie.
paid to see?
It was the movie that Michael Bay made because he did Transformers 3 and 4, so he could afford to do Pain and Gain because that was his baby.
You cast Mark Wahlberg and The Rock in your baby.
Because it's about bodybuilders and
That's
heists.
like going to Starbucks for reasonably priced coffee.
He had to make He had to make enough money
Dwayne Johnson isn't
to
cheap.
do this movie. Yeah, Dwayne Johnson's actually incredibly high paid, and it's the movie he wanted to make. Because remember, most of the time when Michael Bay does movies, he has these huge budgets from other companies to do it. You know, Transformers doesn't happen like out of Michael Bay's pocket or out of the studio's pocket. It comes out of Hasbro's
Well,
pocket.
you're not supposed to make a movie with your own money anyway.
Well, yeah, but Michael Bay he needed to make a large enough chunk of cash in order to pay a game.
Well, I'm glad he at least was able to do it.
And it's a horrible movie.
Yeah.
It's just horrible. There's nothing.
I've heard there's nothing redeeming about it.
But the thing is I don't think studios look at Michael Bay and see money anymore. Like, not in the same way.
They look at him and see.
They look at him and say, okay, he can do an action sequence somehow. He'll
Dude,
get
he
us
could
through
turn
it.
brushing your teeth into an action sequence and make it cheesy.
Yeah, and that's what they see him for, but they don't really see him make a lot of money. Now, Transformers 3 did make a lot of money, but it was nowhere near.
Enough, yeah.
There was nowhere near what. But most of the time,
no one I know, with the exception of Otter, liked Transformers 2.
My family did. They do not have good taste in movies.
They really don't.
my dad liked Transformers 2, but then he thought about it. And that's sort of what happened with Transformers 2 with me. Transformers 3, on the other hand.
See, I didn't even have to think.
Yeah.
Neither did I.
Well,
I think the scene where she got high off of brownies and she started acting like she had just taken meth.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
couldn't stand the stereotypes and misogyny and the really cheap
So you couldn't stand any of them.
Yeah, it's kind of.
That's the movie's
Yep.
premise.
Yep.
It's.
It sucked.
But
Or
yeah,
like why the Decepticons would want to blow up a star that the planet orbits, even though in blowing up the star it would destroy the
for
planet.
Energon.
But that would destroy the planet.
Well,
For Energon, guys.
So why put the machine on the planet that's going to get destroyed?
For Energon, guys.
Okay, no.
That was a horrible plot.
No.
Like, I'm not
But
justifying
that was
it.
the actual
That's
plot.
the only explanation they'll ever give you.
They were going to blow up the sun for Menergon.
To turn it into
For
Energon.
Menergon.
Turn it into Energon.
To turn it into Energon.
Menergon sounds like a gay club on some Transformers-owned planet.
Really? Okay, say it gaily then.
Menergon.
Okay, it does.
But they were going to turn the sun into a big ball of Energon, and then they were going to take it to Cybertron.
I could see it. Tonight's
There we go.
dancer is Optimus Prime.
So is
on the
Liz's
fire
turn
pole.
yet?
It is Liz's turn.
Yeah, I've been trying to think of another.
Well, you had
Tick
another
tock,
one.
tick tock,
Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange.
TikTok Zest, I guess.
A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, Clockwork Orange. I think it's really good.
I
I
could
think
The epitome of ultra violence.
I could see
Yeah.
them remaking it.
I
Like, I
could-
could see
I
them.
really don't think that they do it justice.
Well, I don't think they would either, but it is one of those movies where I could concede it would be
Some
possible.
small-time British director trying to take on the
writer
project.
actually read the wrong book. He read the censored version, American version, which was shorter than the English one. So he wrote the script based on the wrong book.
Well, so I think one of the things we're talking about how Hollywood will screw it up. But it should be not so much because honestly I think some of these movies should be remade because they'll screw it up. I think the reasons is that there should be the merits of the movies alone just can't be replicated.
The Clockwork Orange is definitely one of those movies
That
where
you
you
just-
couldn't redo it.
It just does it does what it sets out to do so well that trying to recapture that just feels cheap and lazy.
It's like trying to replicate the moon landing.
I look at it as trying to replicate an antique cast iron train with plastic.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what-
That's
You can make it look almost exactly like it, but the light doesn't hit it right, and it's lighter, and it doesn't make the same noises, and the moment you have it near anything hot, you immediately see the obvious flaws. And that's what it feels like. They could, even if they made these movies, even if someone say, remade Blade Runner and did it really good, it would not be the same.
It just wouldn't. Like even if they get it right.
Even if they did it in a manner that I thought actually made it good, they couldn't.
They couldn't make it again.
Yeah. Now making a movie. No, not even making a movie really in the same universe. And I don't trust the guy. What's his name? The guy who's I lost faith in him a long time ago.
Abrams?
Not Abrams. I don't
What's
like
he
him.
responsible for?
He made Prometheus.
Oh, Cameron.
Not Cameron. It's Prometheus wasn't made by Cameron. The guy who
Ridley
made
Scott,
Aliens.
Ridley Scott.
I don't trust Ridley Scott with it anymore.
Well, yeah. And then
Ridley Scott would have someone realizing that a robot was someone was a replicant, and then immediately hand them a gun.
it was this
I'm a monster. I know how to deal with monsters.
Yeah.
Here, give me your gun.
It's sort of like the Lucas kind of
Sounds like my
situation.
logic.
It's like the Lucas situation.
Yeah, Ridley Scott in the past could do Blade Runner again. Ridley Scott now has lost a few too many neurons.
And we saw that with George Lucas. When he did Star Wars, he got it right. Now, granted,
And then he got fat and lazy, and he made the prequels.
and then he got so big and important that no one was ever going to tell him no. So
Yeah.
any bad idea he had, he just went with, which is I think what happened with Ridley Scott on Prometheus. Which I think even if you get the original directors for these movies back to remake them, you're going to have some of that same problem because they made this good movie before. How could they possibly fuck it up again? Like, how? And then they'll go and do it. They'll just do it. Now, there's some people who, if I could bring them back to remake some of their movies, or just to make more movies, I would do it in a heartbeat. Kubrick would be an example.
Kubrick.
And back to the movie we were talking about.
Well, okay, but Clockwork Orange, well, that's Kubrick.
Exactly. That's why I used your little segue there
Yeah.
to bring us back.
Kubrick, that's the thing, is like Clockwork Orange, it's like you said, you could do it again, and even if you got it right, it just wouldn't.
I got an ugly taste of what it might be like in Tenacious D versus the Pick of Destiny. Do you remember the scene?
Yeah, it's just you
He wakes
can't.
up on the park bench.
And then the
Yeah.
Droogs show up. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the level of...
it would feel derivative. It feels highly derivative, and
Yeah.
it just doesn't work
Even
anymore.
if you tried to address it as a completely original piece, it would not ever be the same.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Although I could honestly have done without the drugged milk being a thing.
All right.
The knife was essential. It was a big part of the book and everything.
The world. It was a part of the world.
My turn
Everybody
now.
did it.
Or is it yours? You
It's
still going?
done.
Yeah, your turn.
Bill and Ted.
Yep.
Bill
Yes.
and Ted, partially because I don't really think that segment of the population really exists anymore. I mean, I know they do, but they're nowhere near as big, and now it's seen as kind of corny.
It was a fun movie for me growing up and watching it.
No, it's a great movie, especially for younger people.
It is.
And the humor is just adult enough to where you can kind of get some of those dirty little snickers,
And
but
kids
it's not.
still love it.
But it's not so overblown to where you're going, oh god, I can't believe they said that. Like the Jesselpick offensive.
Yeah, yeah.
What a shit show.
But
Or is it Jesselbeck offensive?
Jesselnick. But the thing about Bill and Ted,
awful.
like, you really can't recreate the
feeling.
chemistry there. No, the chemistry is what's really there with Keanu Reeves and
I wonder if they're gonna. I wonder if they'll be able to in the upcoming sequel.
there is talk of a sequel, which I'm
Well, no,
totally,
it's being made. Not there's just not. It's being made.
Then I'm excited for that.
Oh, yeah, I like a sequel. Sequel's fine. You know, I mean, yeah, you could start ruining the series with a sequel, but at least it's not like a remake trying to do
From what I
it.
understand, it's them picking up in the Wild Stallions universe, not ours.
Yeah,
So that
it's
should
their
be
world.
interesting.
It's their world, and that's what Bill and Ted's about. It's about just this wacky little world where the rules of death can be hinged on a freaking board game. It's Bill and Ted. You can't really.
Phone booths can travel back in time.
You can't do that again. You just can't.
Well, if they did it again, they'd modernize it. And instead of a phone booth, because honestly, they assume no one knows what a phone booth even is.
Yeah, Hollywood thinks you're stupid.
Yeah, there's like, phone booth, is that a booth for...
Where's where you listen
Yeah.
to your cell phone?
Hey, dude, what's this? It's like a box.
They would do it with something that's just as.
I click on the numbers on this thing and nothing happens.
Look, I'm just gonna use my tablet to get directions.
That's what, that would be the time machine. It'd be a smartphone.
Yeah.
They take out the smartphone time machine. Come on, let's go, Steve Jobs, and do
Sepia
it.
tone.
Yeah, it'd be
Steve Jobs and Bill Gates traveling through time. Can we have
Well,
that
it'd be the
No, I want-
Instagram time machine. Oh wow! Now we're in black and white time.
It'd be like Hot Tub Time Machine, where they'd spend 5 minutes on a joke about 8 tracks. I get it. They're 8 tracks.
I kind of want to now see the Bill Gates.
I remember 8 tracks. I wasn't even in the 80s, and I remember 8 tracks. I get it. It's a fucking tape.
The only funny joke out of the entire movie was Lugal.
I've never seen that movie, so I'm lucky, I guess.
It ends with the old bald guy getting rich by founding Google under his own name.
Cool.
The end.
But
Or the boombox. I know what a boombox is. I know people used to.
Oh my
carry
God! Do you
boomboxes.
see the high fade? Nobody remembers that.
Wow, it's a box and it makes noise. Wow.
all right, so
The sad part about that movie was it was from the perspective of people who lived in that decade, and yet they were acting like these things were from a fucking history book.
Clearly, they were really stupid, though.
Clearly.
but so to the next one, I guess.
Otherwise, you wouldn't. Yeah.
What
okay.
movie were we
It's-
talking
It's
about?
your turn now. I was talking about Bill and Ted, and then we kind of got on a segue. It's your turn.
Oh shit. Okay. I don't want to use my ringer yet. What was my second? RoboCop, and then the big one. What's it? Okay. Bruce Campbell versus the Army of Darkness.
So,
Which is one I could see them doing.
well, then
I
they remade
don't
Evil
want
Dead.
them to be. They couldn't even use the same title. They just can't.
Okay.
Because Bruce Campbell versus the Army of Darkness now is an old fat guy poking skeletons with a stick. Hey, am I still funny?
I don't. Well, that's sort of like what I would feel the Army of Darkness movie, like a remake, would be for that. It'd just be.
It'd be My Name is Bruce, and that movie was terrible.
It'd sort of just be.
Oh God!
What?
That's a person. She's been there the whole fucking time.
How many times can
You've
you
been
like?
talking to her.
Well, you can't make a zombie movie anymore without, for one thing, feeling derivative. Even if you don't want to say, well, they're not zombies, but they are.
Yeah, I am. I'm kind of tired. Of
You can't be. You can't make that movie anymore. Even if you make it like a funny, if you can't even make it like a funny zombie movie anymore.
I don't think that aside from everything else, you're not going to get that B-movie superstar like Bruce Campbell was.
Also, you just don't have the. It's the timing's really bad for that now.
Unless you got someone from YouTube, like they'd probably get that. Who's that kid who shouts?
Wait, hold on. We've got a lot.
There's a lot of them.
Who's that kid
All
who
of
shouts on
YouTube?
YouTube?
All
The
of
kid who
YouTube?
shouts. The shouting kid who made the Fred movies.
Oh, you mean Fred?
Fred? Can you imagine Fred in the Army of Darkness?
Yes, and
Skeletons!
I want to see that because
Wait,
they
no, hold
probably
on.
stab
Hold on,
him
let me
over
see-
and
let me see if
over
I can
and
get
he
Fred.
die.
Skeletons! Okay, I'm right here. It's hurting my ear, man.
But,
It hurt my brain.
you really can't do for one thing, you can't really collect that same B movie feel anymore because B movies are really different now.
Yeah,
they-
nowadays they'd shoot it in a real castle.
Yeah,
It would look so real
B
and it'd be so
movies-
gritty and it just wouldn't be right.
B movies now have can sort of still look like a good movie.
Well,
They'd be able to get all the special
Well,
effects right.
The whole definition of a B movie, I feel, has actually really changed because before, a B movie.
B movies
even
used to
up-
be cheesy and fun. Now
Even
they're
up until
gritty and
the
real.
into the early 2000s, and even up to 2009, B movie. You see a B movie. Oh, look at those special effects; they're terrible. But now it's like, I can't tell the difference.
Now B movies are using practicals and all the old school tricks that looked really good, and it's hard to distinguish them from a decent movie. If
Plus,
you're
the
approaching it
technology
that
has
way.
gotten so cheap that really, to make a feature film, you only need about $10,000. And I know that sounds like a lot, but that really isn't a lot, considering the average movie is like what, $20-30 million.
50 actually.
I mean, you really don't need. Most of the money that you would spend on a B movie would be to get real actors, and that's it.
And the thing is, they also have the thing like Army of Darkness came out, during the kind of like the trauma revolution, where a lot of those movies, really that feeling that you could make a movie like that, like a super stupid gory movie.
It's
It had-
among the only movies I've ever seen with 3 canon endings as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just this big stupid fun experience, and you can't do that anymore without feeling like you're trying too damn hard.
Well,
You can't do it now. They're making a kids movie.
Another thing is, everyone's already done it so many times. Like, there's been so many of those stupid gore movies now that it's like, it's another stupid gore movie.
Yeah.
It's like,
Hey,
you guys
now-
want to go watch Human Centipede?
Hey, looking back, as a kid growing up, the scene where they introduced the pit.
Yeah, the pit was pretty
You
cool.
see the fountain of blood, 100 foot high. At 6 years old, I looked at that and went, "That's bullshit." And I knew it was, but it was so fun to see the fountain of Kool-Aid blood spurting up and soaking the ground.
But see, if you did that now, it'd just be a 6-year-old kid would go, "That's bullshit."
That's not Call of Duty.
That ain't Call of Duty. It's just Kool-Aid.
Plus, it'd all be done in shaky cam, too.
Oh yeah, just
Fuck shaky
There'd be
cam.
blood, and it'd be like, oh my god, look at the blood! And there'd be
Oh my god, it's a red seizure.
it's a red gasm.
So yeah, you couldn't really do Evil Dead again.
And honestly, I just don't want to see a brand name chainsaw attached to his wrist. Is it just
There's
me,
a
or would that be
craftsman with
wrong?
a battery attached to it?
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
Husqvarna.
No, it would be a fucking Husqvarna chainsaw with a big, very visible label. And at the end, instead of selling a shotgun, Husqvarna chainsaw, aisle 4, S-Mart.
And he has
Because
the
you
battery.
you couldn't do the gun thing anymore.
Yeah, because now guns are... You can't buy a gun at Kmart now.
You can still buy them at Walmart, though.
Yep.
Yeah, but Kmart is dead, so...
Yeah, Kmart's.
Although there is an S-Mart in Danville.
Yes, there is.
An actual S-Mart.
It's on Riverside.
We should see it.
We've
you
seen
shouldn't.
it. It's terrible. It's nothing like you'd expect.
It's just like walking inside of a dead whale's carcass.
It's
I've
a dollar
done
store.
that. It's fun.
No, it's not in the fun way. It's just
You're
depressing.
not gonna find ambergris, just feces.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't looking for ambergris. I was looking for crabs.
Well-
It's extreme crab fishing.
No, extreme crab fishing is when you jump into the Arctic Ocean naked with a net.
I'm not Norwegian. I can't do that.
Okay, so now
But you're
so I
not
guess-
extreme.
It's your turn.
I guess we're going to the last one.
Yeah, the last
for
one's-
me. And this one's one of those ones that it's hard because you don't want to pull out the obvious one. You don't want to pull out the one that you just
would
can't.
probably not be made anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I feel we're in that weird place where even this movie would get remade, and I'd say The Dirty Dozen.
Actually, you know what? I could see that being remade.
Because the thing about it is, The Expendables is sort of like it's the Dirty Dozen's been done like 100 times.
Yeah.
Like the basic plot's been done 100 times, but the actual Dirty Dozen has never been remade,
It never should.
and it shouldn't. But you could see like someone in Hollywood's like,
I could have.
I think it's gotten enough spiritual sequels though that spiritual remakes that
I could
there's
see.
no concern about seeing it.
well, Guardians of the Galaxy is a spiritual remake
Yeah.
of The Dirty Dozen.
I could have seen Dirty Dozen being remade if Lone Ranger had done well.
Yeah.
If it had
No.
done, if Lone Ranger had done well, I could see someone going, okay, westerns are back. What else can we make?
Well, no, Dirty Dozen's about. Well, I think you're thinking of the wrong movie.
Well, no,
Dirty Dozen's a war. Is a World
he's
War II movie.
extrapolating off the concept.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, the one about the all the like the former like criminals and crap like that.
Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. You know, it's just weird that the weirdest spiritual remake of The Dirty Dozen is Small Soldiers. because other than like three
I
members,
missed that.
because only like three members of like the commando elite, they're like everyone else is a member of the Dirty Dozen except for like Tommy Lee Jones and like I think Corey Burton.
Although honestly, Tommy Lee Jones would be in good company there.
Oh well, he would be if they ever remade it.
If Tommy Lee Jones had been born 6 years later, he'd be all right with it.
Yeah, if he was born. If they were doing the Dirty Dozen now.
I think Tommy Lee Jones was just born too soon for the original Dirty Dozen.
If
was already dirt.
If they remake it now, Tommy Lee Jones would most likely be in that cast along with
Phil Hartman, fuck it.
he's dead. You
See,
bastard.
he's perfect for it.
Some rapper.
Yeah, someone who has that kind
50 Cent, yo.
of.
I'm old, my career's dead, I need money.
But like because of course, like remember these movies are these spiritual remakes have been done. You know,
Nice.
the Expendables.
He's
and
actually
shit like
he's actually got a lucrative career as a home remodeler.
I know.
Okay? He's doing well for himself.
Flip that house.
Vanilla.
Vanilla that flippy.
Okay, how about Exhibit?
No.
Exhibit would be in it.
But once again, I just don't think you could really remake it and feel as if, because no one would guess, the people who weren't aware of the original, they would just see it as another one of those kinds of movies, despite understanding it's really just that, like the Dirty Dozen alone is the original, is the originator, it's the alpha.
Although, to be fair, that's like saying it's the first zombie. Just because it's the first doesn't mean it should be revered so much as reviled.
But it's not.
Because though it is a good film in itself, it did give birth to things like The Expendables 2.
This is true. And, you know, and what I'm saying is that this movie should never be remade because of where it stands and because of how it works.
Camera mic is this way.
You're talking into your feet.
Okay, so the thing about
Shoe cam.
it should be remade. It
There's
shouldn't be
a
remade.
serving for the GoPro.
It should be left alone. But the thing is that it's also kind of already been remade. But
Dozens
it should
and dozens of times.
dirty dozens of times. But
Leave.
That was pretty terrible.
Leave.
I feel good about that.
Well, he's already shot his last one, so
Yeah.
good leave.
Oh, hey, I like being a part of the
This whole video has been Nassuman talks, okay?
All right, and that's just that's my last one. So
All right,
Liz, your
so
last
Liz?
one.
We're on the subject of things that shouldn't be remade and also should have never been remade. And one that I think should have been remade is Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland. I hate that thing.
You're talking about?
The one that Tim Burton
The
made
newest
shouldn't have
one
been
with,
made.
Oh God, yeah.
It's horrible.
That's just another. It's just another Helena Bonham Carter, Johnny Depp romp.
It's
in a dark
another
universe.
Tim Burton movie. It's what it is. And
It's the Tim Burton formula to the letter.
well, okay. Alice in Wonderland is one of those movies, one of those stories.
It's
They're gonna constantly make movies of.
Yeah.
it's
like,
quintessentially dark.
Well, no, it's quintessentially absurd and
Yeah,
silly
it's
and
just
just
The
absolutely
very nature
out
of
there.
it is very adult and dark, though, if you address it
Well, it-
now.
Oh yeah,
well,
the
it-
whole book was written in adult speak, so
It counts as this, but the thing is, it's one of those. The imagery it invokes is so iconic and so unique. amongst.
It's so bright and colorful, but there's still such a dark underside, and that's why it appeals to the Tim Burton's audience, I guess.
That's why it appeals
Honestly,
to. That's why it
I
appeals
don't
to
think it was ever that
Disney.
dark.
That's why it appeals to everyone.
I've got to disagree. I mean, underneath the surface of the basic principle is disturbing.
Well, it's
It's-
satire. It's satire. It's
mathematical satire mostly,
Yeah,
but they
it's
didn't
still-
actually have any of those things. Like they didn't even have the talk of the caterpillar. I mean, it was a interpretation,
which why
did not
Did they
sit
even
well
have
with
the
me.
Cheshire Cat in that?
yeah.
They
did.
but he looked. They all looked retarded. Every single one.
Granted,
Huh,
and the
I
thing
missed
about the Alice in Wonderland by Tim Burton is that it's what he wanted to make, and I don't
Yeah.
really think that it wasn't a good movie by
He
any
just needs to
stretch
stick
of
to
it.
Beetlejuice.
No, that's a movie they should never ever touch again.
They're touching
Yeah.
it again.
What?
Touching it in very
There's
dirty,
a
dark
There's
ways.
a sequel coming.
But the thing about it is that
That's a bummer.
he's gonna do whatever he wants to do because he's in that place in Hollywood where he can, because he does just make money.
Yeah.
If not in the primary market, but in the
Tim Burton
aftermarket.
opens his mouth and Hot Topic throws money at him.
Exactly, which is why he's going to do whatever he wants to do, and
He's
I
going to
don't-
get paid well for it.
I don't really care anymore. I stopped watching Tim Burton movies years ago.
Yeah,
My-
when
my
they
la-
did Sweeney Todd, I got really disappointed after we went to go see it at UNCG.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the movie just it felt like
It was not.
It's how Tim
It was
Burton does
hilarious on stage. It was absolutely hilarious on stage.
I think my favorite Tim Burton anything though is still one of his
Fish.
earlies.
Big
Vincent.
Fish. I
Vincent.
love Big Fish.
Vincent's really good.
Not that one. Keep going.
Oh, wait, you want me to go before
you
Vincent?
gotta
Remember,
figure it out.
literally his first movie.
You get no, not before, but
Edward or something?
still early.
Well, there's Nightmare.
No.
Nightmare.
Nightmare's really
Yeah,
good.
Nightmare.
Nightmare's pretty
That
good.
wasn't
Nightmare
his
is probably the only one that I actually still enjoy.
Okay.
I know, like, it's okay, but I really don't enjoy the song that much.
Well, I literally like Danny Elfman. I like Oingo Boingo way too much, more than I should like Oingo Boingo.
You like most things more than you should.
This is true. So let's, but I think now's a good time to just go ahead and move on to the next one.
Well, thanks for telling me what to do on my show.
I
Yeah.
just thought it was just a good idea.
That's it. You're getting edited out.
All of me.
I actually can do that now.
Okay.
I can go in After Effects and make it like you're not even here.
Replace him with
A koala.
Barney.
I can put his face on your head.
Switch it.
what
Okay.
is it? Robert Downey Jr.
No.
Right there.
Okay.
The rest of the video.
But
I'd do it and he'd be off kilter. Anyway, okay, my last one.
This better be good, Weasel. I expect big from you.
I don't think these would be remade, but I could see them being remade. And that is any of the main Mel Brooks vehicles. I'm more like Young Frankenstein, though I don't see that being remade. I could envision a scenario where Tim Burton could get a hold of it.
Yeah.
Or
He'd mangle it.
Spaceballs, because Spaceballs itself wasn't exactly a very funny movie to begin with. I'd had some points, but
Hello, my baby. Hello, my
it's
honey.
funny.
It's okay.
It's funny by volume.
But I actually no, I can't really see someone coming around and making that. Robin Hood, no, not really Robin
Man in
Hood.
Tights is kind of an
Hold up, because we forgot about one of the Mel Brooks engines that they already did remake, but it was Mel Brooks remaking his own movie when they remade Producers. Because the thing about most Mel Brooks movies is they are that he goes and turns them into musicals, as he turned
Yeah, but
Frankenstein into a musical.
Producers was the new one was based off the
The
Broadway play more than it was the last movie. That one's okay. I'm talking about like
Are you talking about, say
I'm more talking
say
about
somebody
Young
got their hands
Frankenstein.
on Blazing Saddles or something?
Yes,
Well-
although that movie couldn't possibly be made now.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
ironically enough, it's because of the language in it.
But
Which is
you're
weird. I mean, weird for nowadays, but I honestly think because of the language in Blazing Saddles, you could not remake it.
Young Frankenstein, I actually could see them remaking Young Frankenstein, but I would see it in the same way they remade The Producers. They would just take the stage, the musical version, and they put it to movies. And
Again, that's
I, on
not,
the other
that's not a
hand-
good scenario, though, because
But
it
that's-
can screw it up.
I, on the other
Of course.
hand, could see them doing
they
this, waiting for him to be dead, and
Uh,
then giving it to somebody.
from what I understand, the rights on his movies are actually kind of he owns almost all the rights to his movies. They're not studio owned, which is why he's given so much free range.
Which
to play
means
with
that they
musicals.
probably land in the hands of his son, Max, who is a notorious sellout and is responsible for things like World War Z.
Wait, that's actually his son?
Max Brooks is Mel Brooks' son.
I did not know that. I did not
He's
know
a
that.
notorious sellout. He sold out to, okay, who's the guys that do Sons of Guns? What network is that?
Discovery.
He sold out to Discovery. He'll sell out to anyone.
I did not know that. I thought that.
Now, somebody fact check me, but I'm pretty sure that Max Brooks is Mel Brooks' son.
Yeah, he is. He's Mel Brooks' son from his first marriage, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
did
that
not know
puts
that.
him as oldest, ergo, heir.
Did not know that. Well,
So yeah, waiting for him to be dead, then taking it and going, well, let's do something cool with this. Let's make it color, and
we also
let's
gotta
set
remember,
it in Los Angeles.
Let's also remember that Mel Brooks also made the Spaceballs animated series.
Okay,
he had
that was bad.
he had
that
an
was
active hand in.
bad.
He was there for every step of the way, and
I
it
watched
wasn't good.
every episode of
And-
Spaceballs animated
And
series.
Mel Brooks, we can't say like, oh, he's brilliant, he's funny, but he's not always
And
going to
if
make
you
the best
remember,
choice.
I didn't say that.
Not everything he lays his hands on is good. We can all agree on that.
So,
But there are good ones.
there are.
The majority of his works are enjoyable.
Yes.
Or I could see them doing To Be or Not to Be, although, oddly enough, that is actually a remake of an earlier movie.
It is.
But I could see them taking that and going, who did World War II good? Let's give it to someone who did World War II good. Tarantino did World War II good. We give it to him. Someone give it to somebody.
What about silent movie?
I
Could you really remake silent movie?
I don't think you could remake silent.
You don't need to.
It couldn't have. It was barely made at the time. Like nowadays it's like everyone who
What is
remembers
YouTube
when
video?
talkies were news dead, or virtually everyone. So now it would be like, what's
I'd say everyone.
yeah. Well, virtually. I mean, there's still people who were live in like the 19-teens.
And there's still people making silent films.
Yeah, although no one. I mean,
Yeah, but it's mostly just out of respect for the art style.
Well, yeah, it's a nuanced thing.
but I don't see anyone remaking silent movie because I don't see that being made. But
I don't see it having an audience.
yeah, I don't see it having an audience really. It barely had an audience when it came out.
Despite being one of his funniest movies. I think it's one of his funniest. Like
High Anxiety.
you couldn't remake.
They would probably take High Anxiety and like I don't know, it's anxiety. Let's give it. I don't even want to watch it.
They would probably feel like one of the like a.
It's like they're skimming titles and handing it to directors.
Well, to be fair, High Anxiety is a parody of psychological thrillers.
Yeah, but they probably wouldn't even watch the movie.
Yeah, I disagree.
That has happened.
It has, but I honestly don't think, because you do have these movies which are like talked about. You hear from these critics and reviewers about why they're so good. There's some movies that you literally can't if you were called onto the project, you can't just outright ignore what goes on, what the movie is about. Like High Anxiety, if all of a sudden High Anxiety is turned into a Jennifer Lopez psychological thriller.
I beg to differ.
It's been done.
I beg to differ because money. And before you say anything,
Money buys stupidity.
Money, yeah.
money. If they even if they gave it to a director who was like, no, I can't in good conscience do that. Money.
Here's a stack of money. Count it.
And there's only two options for him. He can either forget that there's a future, or
Forget about the future.
or he can like money.
Either you swallow your pride or you go broke. Is basically the point of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I don't think they will do it.
I don't think they will,
But it could happen.
but it could happen. It's well, yeah, I'm done, but it's his turn.
Okay, see, now throughout the process of this video, I've mulled over my third.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say the Holy Grail, but realistically, no one will ever touch that. It is untouchable. It is a great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I started running through a list of all my favorite movies,
Mm-hmm.
and landed on one that's not even remotely a favorite, but is still fantastic, in my opinion.
What is it?
The Blues Brothers.
Oh yeah.
I don't really see anyone remaking the Blues.
Well, remember Blues Brothers 2000? Because I do. Remember how painful Blues Brothers 2000 was?
Well, yeah, but wasn't that done by the same people?
No, it wasn't. It was done by the Saturday Night Live people, but it was not done with this.
Make it right.
But it didn't make it right. It did it because Blues Brothers, they tried to revive it, they tried to give it something else, but Blues Brothers, the reason Blues Brothers is good, and I find it weird that I had to explain why Blues Brothers is so good, is because
Assume there are people who haven't seen it.
the lead,
There are people who haven't seen it.
well, yeah, like every joke in that movie works.
It was
Every single joke in that movie just.
And I'd say that there is a danger for a movie like that to be remade because it's definitely a cult film. Not everyone loves it, but the people that do
Love it to death.
love it to death. Which cult films have a special danger of being bastardized.
Yeah,
Yeah, like The Crow.
yeah, like the Crow. Exactly like the Crow.
The Crow was raped 3 times.
Yeah.
And they sort of got it right the 4th time, but not as well as they should have.
No, I'd say they entirely fucked it up 2 through the miniseries.
Oh god, I forgot about the miniseries.
Anyway, back to
But
Blues Brothers.
Blues Brothers, like also Blues Brothers was very much it was about blues. Like it actually talked a lot about like you were kind of drenched into the history of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's still
Cab Calloway shows up
so
in that.
much of it.
Cab Calloway himself shows up in that Minnie the Moocher. I mean, you can't. There's no one like
You
that
can't
for
replicate
blues.
the cast.
There's no
even
one
if
like
you
that for
wanted
blues
to.
anymore. Like those classic guys, the fact that they were in it and it was about blues culture. You can't do that again. You really can't because that era, that classical era, there are no more titans in blues anymore. There's some stars, there's some very good people. But these are like legends, living legends inside of this movie that you just can never replicate that same feeling in
Plus,
that
you
casting.
can't count on general audiences having any idea who these people are.
Exactly.
Even then, I mean, even if it's straight to DVD release, forgiving everything else about it, if somebody were to touch it, they could not do it right.
They wouldn't. And, like, even if they loved it, even if they did,
it could have been their favorite movie. They could know it word for word, know every nuance.
Even if they did a
every
shot-for-shot remake.
It would not be right.
Yep. Because the timing is just completely off. It was at the time, at the place, the cast. I mean, oh my god.
The cast is you can't do it.
John Belushi. Like
it was.
You can't. There's a reason no one was ever to replace him.
Hey, it's turning red.
Oh no!
The
No!
battery's
No!
turning- No, I mean the battery's turning red. We got to wrap this up.
All right, yeah.
All right.
So yeah, that was the Disjointed Talk, and I hope you enjoy anything.
We'll come up with something more interesting next time.
I'll have something up on my channel sooner or later.
No one watches your channel.
Yet.
Don't feel bad. No one even knows my username.
And there may or may not be another Disjointed Talk being uploaded directly behind, after this. I don't know. It depends.
It just won't be as beautiful as this.
No, it won't, because there's no outlets out here. Anyway.
Stupid Mother Nature.
Goodbye.
See you guys next time.
I hate you all.